Welcome to another episode of Dairy Farms, and today we are in Murang'a County, in Maragua Sub-County, in Genda Ward, to meet a fodder farmer who has taken specialty in the wonder grass called Brachiaria. Follow me for more. Murang'a County is famous for its steep hills and valleys and serene environment. In the little-known Ginda ward of Maragua Sub-County, nothing much seems to happen. It feels like the clock suddenly stopped. Most retail outlets here closed doors a while back, and there is an eerie feeling of a ghost town. A few kilometers from the sleepy shopping centers, we meet Ngoge Morage at his fodder farm. But before we go deeper into his story, let's first explore into some dairy farming facts. Milk production across the country is estimated to be between 1,300 kilograms to 4,575 kilograms per cow per year from the various dairy breeds. This variation in production is attributed by availability of high-quality feeds, difference in animal breeds, and the production system, which in turn is influenced by agroecological zones. This production per animal is low compared to the world's best of 9,000 kilos or liters per year. However, in Kenya, studies have revealed that the genetic potential of dairy cattle is far much higher than the milk production. This implies that good management coupled with quality feeds are the key to increased production. On feeds, a dairy animal consumes 3% of its body weight of dry matter, and from the 3%, fodder constitutes about 98%. Estimate of an adult 60 to 100 kilograms, concentrates 2.2 kilograms, and mineral supplements 100 to 150 grams. Utilization of high-quality fodder not only leads to high yields but also lowers costs, since feeds make up to 70% of the production cost in a dairy system. Sourcing fodder poses a great headache for most dairy farmers. Ngoge Morage saw this as an opportunity to earn a living by planting and selling fodder to dairy farmers. After doing a thorough research, he decided to settle for Brachiaria grass Mulatto 2 variety. It is said that this wonder grass could transform Africa's dairy farming.
In October 2017, that's when I planted a small portion, because by then it was very hard to get the seedlings. So the money I had, I bought a small portion. I went and multiplied it in March 2018. And by October 2018, I had enough to be able to multiply to other farmers. Now, the advantage was that the rate at which it grows is very fast. If you plant it like today, after 3 months, it will have established itself. You can harvest it for the first time. Then the second rains, it will have increased the base of itself, and it will be able to go to other multiplication areas. Like I can say, I've not been brought up in the rural setting. So telling me every day I'll come dig the farm, to me it's a big challenge. So I opted for fodder farming, where I'll just farm my farm and then I can be selling the fodder. And now, because I had to do research on something which won't require a lot of my attention on the farm, so that's why I opted to do Brachiaria and like the rest of the other fodder crops. Yeah, so I opted for Brachiaria because it has at least more advantages on its part. The advantages of Brachiaria are like in Murang'a, the place is hilly, so we get a lot of soil erosion. The rain is being carried off, a lot of runoff. So I was looking for also a fodder which will assist in stopping the runoff. And because there's this issue of patches of manure and all that, I also wanted a fodder, a grass, a fodder which doesn't require a lot of nutrients to be delivered all the time to the farm, that requires a lot of weeding. And that's when I did my research I found Brachiaria to be the best. October 2017, that's when I planted a small portion, because by then it was very hard to get the seedlings. So the money I had, I bought a small portion. I went and multiplied it in March 2018, and by October 2018, I had enough to be able to multiply to other farmers. Now, the advantage was that the rate at which it grows is very fast. If you plant it like today, after 3 months, it will have established itself. You can harvest it for the first time.
Brachiaria grass is indigenous to Africa but has been growing wild until recently. It was taken to other parts of the world, including Australia and South America, where it was improved to get superior varieties, some of which are now being promoted here in Kenya. From a distance, it resembles Napier grass, but on a closer look, the difference becomes more pronounced. Growing up to 1.5 meters in optimal soils and climatic conditions, the Brachiaria grass with its dark green blades produces seeds unlike Napier. But before we get into details of Brachiaria grass, let's take a second look at Napier grass, which for a long time has been the grass of choice for dairy farmers in Kenya. Napier grass has been the most promising and high-yielding fodder among dairy farmers in Kenya, giving dry matter yields that surpassed most tropical grasses. It has a crude protein content of 7 to 10% on average. Serious problems of disease outbreaks have threatened to wipe out the grass. Diseases such as the Napier grass stunt and the head smut have devastated smallholder dairy farmers in Western Kenya and Central Kenya respectively, forcing them to find alternative fodder or abandon dairy farming altogether. Brachiaria grass is proving to be a better alternative.
The main challenge I've faced in this area is people are yet to embrace technology, because right now you can tell people to plant Brachiaria, but they'll tell you, where will we take the Napier that our animals have been feeding on? Or they can't survive on Brachiaria alone, you'll need other things. Alafu, lack of money also is a challenge in this area. I had to put posters, I have handouts. If I am on a safari to Nyeri, I'll carry some handouts, give out. There are women groups not far from here. I've assisted them. And you meet the women, you tell them you can start this as an income opportunity, then you give them the seed for free. Then in the process, people in the area will see the grass, they might now want more of it.
Besides higher yields, this grass can be made into hay or fed to livestock while fresh from the farm. It is harvested 4 months after planting and can be cut every 2 months up to the 7th or even the 10th year. Its yields range between 18 to 20 tons of green fodder per acre, and when dried and baled as hay, it gives 8.5 to 10 tons. Rhodes grass, which has been a favorite fodder among zero grazing farmers, yields 8 tons of green grass in the rainy season. Brachiaria can be fed on livestock as cut and curry and does not have the irritating stinging hair, a quality that makes it very attractive. It can be grazed and be conserved as hay or silage for future use. But why Brachiaria grass? This is because its high-yielding foliage of 6 to 12 hectares per year. It is palatable and nutritious with a crude protein of 18%. It has a high fiber content and increases milk production by 40%. It is drought tolerant for 5 to 6 months and disease and pest resistant. It grows to a height of 1.5 meters and tolerates both alkaline and acidic soils. It has a good rooting system which prevents soil erosion and has no irritating stinging bristles, which makes it easy to carry. The grass does well in areas with an annual rainfall of above 700 millimeters and mean temperatures not exceeding 19 degrees Celsius. It requires well-drained and deep soils.
It grows well from what we call uko chini, 800 below sea level, to 1800. That's when it will be at its best performance. But if you plant it at the other places, it will still grow, but it won't attain its optimum peak ikiwa huko. The research, if you look at the Karo people, they did the research for this in Kwale, Makueni. They have all that information on their website. Now when it comes to the nutrient requirements of this grass, this grass is not a heavy feeder. When you go to the farm, you'll find a place, if you dig about 6 inches deep, you'll find rocks. But this grass, exactly as it looks here, that's how it grows bado, where there's grass. Where I used to grow things, that part used to grow just sisal, and this grass for thatching the house. That's only what grew. Napier couldn't grow, but Brachiaria grows very well there with no nutrients, manuring or anything. But if you have a cow and you manure, the performance is perfect. It will be wonderful. You'll even look at it and you'll see there's a difference.
Murage explains further on some of the factors that may affect the proper development of the grass.
It does well in most soils, but the soil I know it doesn't do well is clay, where there's a lot of water logging. Brachiaria doesn't like water. If you plant it in the section where we plant the arrowroots at the riverbed, it will just stay there. It will never enlarge. It will go. Alafu also, when there's rainfall, the runoff, it won't grow where there's runoff. It will just stand like that. And when you plant it, if it's raining too much, it will start getting rotten. It will rot, the main seedling that you've planted. It will rot. Alafu once it rots, that's when you get, it will grow in small segments. But if it's planted on a place where there's no water logging, the success rate of the seedlings, 100%. From my region, here in Murang'a, there are no pests or diseases disturbing the grass. What only will happen is a mole can dig here to go to another place, but it won't eat the grass. A mole doesn't attack Brachiaria, unless now the rooting is on its tunnel, but it will never stop to bite around the Brachiaria rootings.
Let's take a short break now. When we come back, Murage will elaborate further on how to propagate this grass.